G'day guys, this is Sam here doing another crypto review from the macro and in the near term. And what we can see here is we've got Truebit, that's which I'm advocating to go along with. And as you can see, we had a few times in the past where we had a good performance. I actually got in here. This is when I first found out about Truebit, and I saw this as accumulation. And I'll just go through a bit of background. Once you start to get this trend line as support, once I saw that happening, I thought, yep, that's accumulation, and it's a long-term accumulation. The more it accumulates, the higher it goes. So it's one of those rules that you got to remember. The longer it accumulates, the higher it goes. And there's a general rule. I don't know if it applies all the time, but I'll pick this up. The length of the accumulation sometimes equals the height. I can't sort of do that, but if I was to turn around, if I was, symmetrical, actually, let's do it again. The length of the accumulation, let's see if we can do it with this arch, equals, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. Actually, what's the distance on that? Doesn't give us, does it? No, not coordinates. So yeah, can't do it. Otherwise, I'll try to figure it out if there's a tool, but I believe that case it took place, and maybe the same here. We'll find out if we can do that, but there's no accumulation there. But this was definitely a downtrend, and what we saw is pretty much a descending wedge. But you can see once it crossed over, the MAC crossed over, and that was it. A parabolic. You can see that is very parabolic on the MACD on the daily, and the crossover is pretty much evident that downward pressure, and we are not down below 50% on RSI yet, so it's found support there. So on the daily, this is our support level. If we go below it, it's going to go much deeper, back down to this area, I believe. But anyway, let's look into that. So got my Fibonacci set out like this, and let's go into the 4 hour. And you can see the 4 hour, it's probably worth learning how to trade using the RSI. The moment we broke, so we've got this trend line on the RSI. You can ignore that for the time being. So we've got minimum of freeze at minimum you need. The moment you break it, it is going bearish. So that was our exit. Once we broke that level, that was our exit, that bearish candle. Obviously, it tried to regain that high, which is always an attempt, and that's our reference point going down. So the middle of the way I've done it anyway. So this is a descending channel, and when we look at my chart, the way I've done it, if you notice, I've got the Fib fan going, and I've got the Fibonacci going as well. I could do something here, just make it darker, a bit more clearer, the darkness. And you can see the Fib fan, if it's not perfect, it is acting as resistance, and we can pretty much get rid of that now. That was a descending wedge, and we break out of that for that high. So we can get rid of that, just clean it up a bit. That's a neckline that might come into play later on, so we'll leave that. This is the current resistance, and I'm thinking that there's 3 levels. We have the 25 cents, where it's right now, because of this point, this area, and it's confluent with, just basically basic support. And we're using this point as reference for the obvious reason, for but this level here is the level that we need to break. So if we get above it, I do see resistance, and then on the retest is a point to buy. So if this is the strategy. So we now need to move. That was a strategy. It didn't happen, so we can get rid of that now. This is the support level. We have two options here. I think because there's nothing else here except this previous support, it could probably hold, but I'm looking at this fib fan as a major support level because we have the slope for the fib and we've got the 0.5 Fibonacci to be support as well. And we have support here as well. So this is my thinking, is that 23 cents is the next level. If we see a bullish candle, you can take your chances, but what we want to see is it breaks that RSI. So at the moment it breaks RSI, then you can go bullish. But at the moment on the 4 hour, we are going down. So we broke the 50% on the RSI has become our resistance along there. So that's the problem to go bullish. We need to get above this 50%, become bullish. And I do believe, we'll look at this in a way, slightly in a way, from that point, we might get support. We might get a turnaround. It could happen, but you want to see, stop moving, like that. So that could be resistance. So be prepared that we could potentially get a green candle, resistance, and then use this fib level, this fib fan, potentially as a support, and then break out. So that's one scenario. Second scenario is dip and use this grind to go up. So that's, again, that will go down to this mid level, and then we'll see what happens, grind out, or it keeps falling, depending on if Bitcoin's to drop heavily. I would think this will be the case. And if it just comes like that, it could be a pivot point and drop, because that's the channel trend line. And then we could have accumulation before we break up to the upside. And that's probably down here. Yep. So that's the scenario I'm looking at. Worst case scenario, it drops down again. And this is the accumulation area. And that's probably equivalent to 20 to 22K on Bitcoin, if that was to happen, where we start doing a long-term accumulation and another big move from there. So that's in the ballpark. Hopefully that makes sense. At the moment, we're looking for a bounce off this MACD to be bullish. And that will reflect this level. And if it doesn't, if it crosses over, it's likely to drop furthermore. So let's clear that up. Oh, by the way, I did a stream and I talked about how you do fib fans. So you can have a look at that and where that is. I'll give you a quick look. Go to my profile. Yeah, numbers are increasing. Good stuff. Is this the one? Oh, this is the trade. This one here. So if you look at this stream towards the end part, right, so 2 hour, probably an hour and a bit, you will start seeing some Fibonacci methodology in there. And if I was to click on it, let's see, where is it? Let's see. Okay, there you go. So that's me applying fib fans. And so, yeah, it's about hour and a bit, hour and 15 minutes or so in.
is this
There you
date
go.
and price range.
Okay, so there you go. That's the pivot fan area. That same methodology for this. And using that method along with Fibonacci, you get strong points of pivot points. And that's what I'm looking at the moment. So I'll leave it at that. Please give me a like and a share, and I'll talk to you soon.